What's up, Comic Book Nation? BD here at New York Comic Con. I'm with Gregg Sulkin of the Runaways. Gregg, congrats on season 3.
Thank you, man. Yeah, no, it's nice too. I'm a little bit under the weather, to be honest, but thank you for having me again here.
Of course, and I mean, I appreciate you taking the time, even when they cart you out here, you're under the weather, but we appreciate you, man. You're a trooper. And speaking of being a trooper, I feel like Chase is going to have to be a trooper in season 3. In the promo, we see, I mean, it's pretty dark. It looks like we're going into dark times in season 3. Just talk to me about the tone. Is that teaser reflective of the tone of the overall season we're about to see?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think this season's definitely darker than any other previous seasons. I think this season we have a mystical element, which is fantastic. Obviously, we have a great villain in Elizabeth Hurley this season. So I think, to me, this season is my favorite season. And fans have got a lot to look forward to. The special effects this season are great too.
I'm looking forward to it. Yeah, they look like they get better every season. But we also see your friend Gert being sacrificed in that teaser. I don't know. There's theories that's an alternate dimension. There's theories that's real. Can you say anything about?
What I can say is that there could be different sort of universes or dimensions for sure. And if we do have different dimensions this season, they're unbelievable. But yeah, no, pay attention this season because you're going to have to, because to follow the story and to follow where these characters actually are, pay attention. But if it's worth the attention for sure.
You mentioned Elizabeth Hurley as the villain, Morgan Le Fay. Everybody's very much looking forward to that. This is the first time we've had a villain who isn't hailing from the Pride. So what is that like? Tell me about her and what it's like to kind of get a fresh take on an antagonist and throughout the whole season.
Elizabeth's great. She's such a pro. She's lovely to work with. Lovely in real life, evil on the show. No, she's great. Obviously we had a great villain last season in Julian McMahon. And then this season, Elizabeth stepped up, and she's just a joy to work with. And obviously, being English, it was nice to have a fellow Brit on set too, which is cool.
That's great. And then my last thing for you, I mean, the crossover everybody's looking forward to. We have a lot of Cloak and Dagger fans. I'm one of them. What was it like to kind of get to welcome these other two actors onto set and become a part of a bigger family for the first time?
Absolutely. To be honest, Olivia has been a very close friend of mine for many years before the show. So we always spoke about, how fun would it be if Cloak and Dagger and Runaways crossed over. We did. She had a blast. We had a blast. Aubrey came on, killed it. It was great. The two shows have different tones, but we actually figured out a way to make it kind of work, and to have their energy on set was fantastic. It was a special season, and that episode in particular was a special thing, especially for me and Olivia.
How did the two groups get along? Is there a little bit of a duel at first? Do they hop right into friends? Is it?
You got to watch the episode, but that's exactly what you're thinking. This is exactly what we play with, in the fact that there's 6 superheroes, and then suddenly there's 2 more that may like each other and may not like each other.
All right, looking forward to it, man. Thank you so much.
May need each other.
What's up, Comic Book Nation? BD here at New York Comic Con. We're talking about the Runaways season 3. Congratulations on season 3. That's very exciting.
I'm very excited to be here.
This season is going to be, I feel like, the biggest yet, because not only are we getting darker, which people love, we're getting a crossover. We have to talk all about it. But first we have to talk about Molly. All right. Coming into her own, really. And now I feel like everything is getting fractured within the group. What does that mean?
Well, within the separation, she's learning how to be the glue of the group and kind of bring everyone back together and just protect her family.
Okay, look at that family girl over here now. I don't know.
She really values it.
I don't know if she would have been that way right out of the gate.
No, and especially that's something I admire about her, since she's lost so much and has no family, that she doesn't rely on them, but she loves it to have them just near her. Just for moral support.
Oh yeah, everybody now. But this first teaser we saw for season 3 was super dark, and I mean, you were almost dying. I was kind of worried for you. You really sold it. Good job on the acting. But is that an indication of what's to come? I mean, what can we expect? Is that a real scenario, a dream scenario? Can you say anything?
It's something in the world of a fantasy, but it's very much settled in reality. That's all I can say.
That's a good tease. Yeah, no, Jeph Loeb isn't going to get mad at you for that one. But also, I mean, we have the crossover that everybody's very excited about with Cloak and Dagger coming in. But I feel like when superheroes meet superheroes, it doesn't always go hey, let's be friends right away. Can you talk about what that introduction was like, both as characters, but also between cast members, welcoming them to your set?
Well, as a character, it's always really fun because you get to bounce off their new energy, and because you're like, where are these kids come from? But ultimately, for the comic book fans, I mean, that's huge. To cross over 2 teen iconic superheroes and put them on one show, that's insane. So it was fun, and you have some some good comedic moments. But as a person in real life, Aubrey and Olivia are amazing human beings. They are just fit right into the cast. I actually started talking to my mom and being like, well, if we get picked up again, if they come on our show, I wouldn't mind because I love them. They're awesome.
Everybody seems like they had so much fun with that.
Yeah.
But also we have a really dark villain coming. Elizabeth Hurley, Morgan Le Fay. I'm really excited to see that come to life. I mean, dark powers, all kinds of stuff coming. I need to hear about what it's like to kind of go up against. She's such an amazing actress too. So not even as the character, but like share a set with her. And what was that like to kind of learn who she's playing and then get into the dynamic there?
Well, we learned a lot about King Arthur and the history about that prior to it because we were all researching about her character, and I know that she's just this female-dominant villainess, but still like pro everything woman. So I think she walked in and she is her own actress, and it's so wonderful, and she's so funny. I actually shared a couple scenes with her this season, and they're pretty wicked.
Hey, Comic Book Nation, BD here at New York Comic Con. I'm with my friend Lyrica, who plays Nico Minoru on The Runaways. We have Season 3 coming up. Congratulations on Season 3.
Thank you so much.
Everybody's very excited, and I love how the teaser kind of incorporates that. Like, oh, we want Season 3. We got it. But I want to start by talking about we have an awesome villain coming this season. Elizabeth Hurley, Morgan Le Fay. I feel like your character might have a special connection to her in some way.
Because we're both witches, maybe?
Yeah, this whole dark energy, all this stuff, I feel like there might be some ties there. I just want to hear about the dynamic between you two on set, and the characters, if you can talk about that.
Oh, we're awful to each other. No, of course, no. I felt so lucky to be able to have so much of the one-on-one time that I was able to have with her. Yeah. And she's just so amazing to work with, and like Morgan Le Fay is such a character to, handle, and she just did it with so much grace, and just it was amazing to watch. It was a great learning experience. We did a lot of green screen time, and it was a lot of like imagining what's there and what's not, but we did it together, and I was really lucky to have that opportunity.
But does this kind of mean we might get to dive into who Nico is a little bit more than before? Like what kind of stuff can we learn, or what kind of...
Well, for Nico this season, it's all about the Dark Nico Rising, which involves a lot of emotional and physical pain, and that's, for her it feels like it's a teenage identity crisis, but times, a million billion, and all she knows is that it feels like she's losing her mind, and that the staff has something to do with it.
If being a teenager wasn't hard enough, deal with the whole world trying to kill you. Yeah. But the family is also kind of splintered. They're more of a family than ever, but they're also not even a family right now because everybody's kind of split up. Yeah. What does that mean? Like, how do we kind of find everybody? Is the first goal reunite?
Yeah, Nico's very stressed out. I mean, from how season 2 left off, season 3 starts back up with Nico on a mission to get Carolina and everybody back.
Awesome, and of course the crossover. What was it like to welcome the cast of Cloak and Dagger to the set and kind of form some additional family members on the Runaways?
Awesome. We've had a lot of good episodes this season, but personally that episode was my favorite because we've just been wanting that to happen for so long, and Olivia and Aubrey are so great to work with, and so we had a lot of fun with that one.
Hey, Comic Book Nation, BD here at New York Comic Con. I'm with Ariela from Runaways. We got to talk about right away this trailer for season 3. You were like, what? Oh, a teaser trailer. Like, we see you being like sacrificed, I guess.
Oh, right. I thought like a trailer was dropped.
It leaked. Tell me everything. It was a trap. No, but I just it seems like we're starting in a really dark place. We should be worried about you based on what I've seen. Talk to me about how we're starting season 3.
Season 3 starts with a pickup from season 2 where Gert has been kidnapped by Dale, and they're on the lam in a cabin together, just Gert, Dale, and Old Lace, learning about the powers.
No big deal.
Yeah. A little scary when you're with your murderous father, but, family's family.
Kind of going to be surrounded by some scary folks, especially the newest cast member, Elizabeth Hurley, who's Morgan Le Fay, bringing some real darkness to the show with her power set. Just talk to me about getting to work with her and what you can say, like what can you tease to us that we'll see about this villain, because we're familiar with her from comics. Yeah. Is it true to that? Is it new? Is it both?
I'm not too familiar with the comic book character, actually. So I can't speak to that. I will say just Elizabeth Hurley is fantastic. She's so fun to work with. She's a delight on set. Her accent, I told her she sounds like therapy. Hi there. She's the best. And she brought a lot of new stuff into our world. So she was kind of the guinea pig for a lot of new special effects, a lot of new things that can feel really silly when you're doing them. But she went for it, and I respect her so much. She did a beautiful job, and I just had to think, don't ruin this take, don't mess it up.
No pressure.
Because I'd just be like in awe.
Oh my God, that's amazing. That sounds like it's going to be so much fun to watch. And last thing, of course, the crossover. What was it like to get to welcome 2 new members to the Runaways family?
They're the best. Cloak and Dagger, Olivia and Aubrey, just the best people. And they brought a lot of fun new dynamics to the table. I mean, their powers alone are just so interesting and so unlike what we experience, and their powers kind of come from the same place that our show is going in that direction, and they know a little bit more than we do, and we know a little bit more than they do about certain things, so it's really nice piecing it all together.
Hey, Comic Book Nation, BD here at New York Comic Con. We're talking about the Runaways Season 3 is coming up with my buddy Rhenzy here, Alex Wilder, leader of the group here. Group is kind of fractured.
Yeah.
What does that mean? What does that mean for you?
It means we got to get them back. That's sort of where we pick up. Yeah, exactly. Carolina, Chase, and Janet are all sort of in these tubes. We don't know where. Do we even know where? We know it's somewhere. They're not with us anymore, and so that's sort of we start up on that. Got to save the crew. Got to get us back under the same roof again.
So what kind of stuff is Alex going to learn from this, though? Because seems like it's the darkest season, which probably means it's going to be the most challenging season for him as a character, for you as an actor. What kind of stuff does he learn? Does he kind of earn some stripes here?
There's a lot of sacrifice going on in this season, so we lose a lot. I think so. He's already hardened up. I think he has to harden up 10 times more this season. You're absolutely right that it does get a lot darker. A lot of twists and turns is coming up, yeah.
And then you have Elizabeth Hurley as the villain, Morgan Le Fay coming in. I feel like there might even be ties. You have a crossover. We're going to talk about that. But I feel like there might even be ties through her villainy to other little things we've seen on other Marvel TV shows. What can you say about her character and what kind of elements of villainy she's going to bring to the Runaways?
She, I'll hint at this. She sort of brings her own world into ours, and so you're absolutely right. She's got a lot of dark magic, a lot of that going on, and so it's an incredibly powerful figure. Our first order of business is dealing with that alien family, and then you see how she sort of integrates herself into that fold. Super great to work with her. I got to share some good scenes and stuff. Just great human being. Love having her on set. But she definitely brings an exciting element to our sort of, we think we got it under control. We sort of come into our own as the Runaways. We've quickly realized we're not so much.
Not so much. I love it. But also, I mean, speaking of bringing another world in, we're going on a collision course with the Cloak and Dagger crew. They're coming in one of these episodes. What is that kind of encounter like between the characters? Like, I know I don't want you to spoil anything, but what is it like when they come face to face? Because I don't imagine it's like, hey, let's all be friends.
Yeah, no, exactly right. It's the banter. So the way our show's kind of written, it's like, we sort of joke back and forth with each other. We make fun of each other a little bit. We sort of have these little snippy comments. They also sort of jump in. We're all teenagers at the end of the day. We don't know each other. We sort of, around that time, help is needed. And the way they come in, I love the comedy with all 8 of us sort of running around. And to see their powers sort of mix in with ours, that's like the really cool part when you sort of, these big action sequences where we get to fight alongside them. That's the cool stuff.
Oh, I can't wait to see it, man. Well, congrats on Season 3. We're all looking forward to it.
Thank you so much.
Hey, Comic Book Nation, BD here at New York Comic Con. I'm with the head of Marvel TV here, the man himself, Jeph Loeb. We're talking Runaways Season 3. Everybody's very excited about Runaways Season 3. Everybody's
very cool season, so they have reason to be excited.
Oh, I can't wait to see it. But well, let's start by talking about the villain. I feel like we're going to go to dark places, and that's largely influenced by a dark villain. Yeah. And this is a villain people know from comics, so can you say, like, is this a villain who is going to be true to the comic book counterpart, a little bit unique to TV, or kind of a both?
Look, I mean, I think everything we try to, take what the spirit of it is in the comics, but I really do have to say that when Elizabeth Hurley said that she would play this part, and every one of us went, wow, she is everything you want Elizabeth Hurley to be. She is brilliant, she is beautiful, she's smart as a whip, she's extremely funny, and she's very, very giving in terms of, here's this movie star who has basically come onto our television show, and being that larger-than-life person brought with the ability to be able to play a larger-than-life character in a way that feels very real and grounded. But by the same token, if you know her from the comics, the sort of the thigh-high boots and the low cut and a cape made out of crows. Yeah. Elizabeth was not only for it, she was like, do we use mine or do you want to make these things for me? And so I just really can't say enough about not just what she brought to the show, but how she is as a person.
Oh, I can't wait to see that version of Morgan Le Fay. But when the show does become dark, how far into the dark tone do you get to push it? Marvel kind of has a reputation for the light stuff. Do you get to push it?
I mean, I think we've, being on Hulu and being able to go, let's just put it this way, this is the season where maybe some folks aren't going to get out. Wow. And with this cast, which we love both personally and professionally, it was challenging. But there were stories that sort of meant that we were going to have to see where it was going to go.
Big stakes.
This way comes.
Oh, wow. Okay, cool. But you also have the crossover, which goes back to Runaways comics, bringing Cloak and Dagger in to kind of fulfill that dream we've all had. I'm sure it's something you've wanted to do.
It absolutely was something we wanted to do from the first season. A lot of it had to do with just making sure that the production schedules worked out, and that also the story warranted it. And what was great is that Cloak by nature is someone who's very influenced by the dark. Nico will be struggling with those kinds of problems at the same time. It certainly isn't helped by the fact that you've got Morgan Le Fay running around, and they play a significant role. It's not kind of just of a drive-by. It's something that's an awful lot of fun. And as I like to say, when you have darkness, you have shadows, and out of the shadows comes Cloak and Dagger.
Can't wait to see them meet. I do want to ask you, because Marvel TV continues to operate independently of Marvel Studios. The crossovers are all within Marvel TV, and as Marvel Studios develops their shows with Disney Plus, how does collaboration work between the two in terms of characters and titles and things like that?
It works the same way that it always has. We have great communication between both ends, and I think as people see into the future as to what's going to happen, they're going to be delighted.
I can't wait. Can you say anything about Hellstrom possibly coming?
All I can tell you is that it's terrifyingly great. It is profoundly disturbing in a way that is, how can I put this? It is truly an adventure into fear.
I can't wait. I have to ask you one last thing, and I'm going to switch gears here, because you once wrote a Batman comic called The Long Halloween. A lot of people online are thinking the Batman movie is going to be based on that comic book to some extent. Do you know anything, and do you want to see that happen?
I don't know anything, and of course, I'm a huge Batman fan. I've known Matt Reeves for years, and I think he's going to make a great movie.